Hi everyone, this is Nate Miller, and this is my fraction or my data analysis. I just used it for a quick quiz that I actually administered today about fractions with my students. So the standard that was being assessed was to build fractions from unit fractions by applying and extending previous understandings of operations on whole numbers. It really took it was 10 questions, but half of it was about proper fractions and unit fractions. The other half of it was regarding improper fractions and mixed numbers. I'll talk about that data in a little bit. But on the left side here, you can just see that I have all the students' scores, and I just did the 0 and 1 to find their average score. Freckle automatically grades it, so the only thing I had to do is just go through and make sure that the kids actually answered the questions correctly, because they do have to type out the fractions. So like if they put a dash instead of a slash, it would mark it wrong. So I did go through and actually made those changes too. So it's slightly different than what the actual website reports, but they technically got it right. Just it was a typing error. Anyways, so based on what this has shown me, student 1 needs a little bit of extra help. Student 5 needs some extra help. That student got a 40%. Student 13 was not here today, so that's why theirs is blank right now. I'll change that once I actually come back to school. And then student 19 got a 50%, so that student also needs help, as well as student 11 here. Other than that, I was pretty pleased to see the 100%. Anything above a 70, I was pleased to see, and I'll get into why in a second. You can go ahead and look down through each of these questions. So question 2, every student got it right. Question 3, every student got it right, which is awesome. Question 4, the majority did. Question 6 is the one that really stands out. This was about multiplying unit fractions, which we technically have not done yet. I wanted to see if they could connect. I think the question was they had to do 3 times 1/2. I wanted to see if they could connect that to just adding 1/2 3 times, which they all know how to do because that's what was tested at 2 and 3. So that lesson that I think is coming towards the end of next week, where we get into multiplying fractions, that'll be a big one, and then I'll reassess that and see where the kids are at that point. But that was the question that skewed some of these scores. So like this 70% here, I'm not worried about that because that question did throw them off a little bit. So that's each student's score. I'll use that for my intervention time tomorrow and kind of make instructional decisions there. So as far as student 5, like I'll pull that student, I'll pull student 5, student 1, I'll pull student 11 and student 19. I'll start with them first. Some of these students who got 100%, I'll take theirs, and they're going to actually move into subtracting mixed numbers now. So this quiz today was all about adding mixed numbers because that's the lesson that we just finished. And then after they took this quiz, we did subtracting mixed numbers. So they'll work on practicing that tomorrow, as well as applying it to actual word problem situations. So now they're going to take real life context and actually add and subtract mixed numbers from there, and even complete some multi-step. So some of those students who really showed their understanding. So the next thing I did is I separated the types of questions based on just proper fractions and unit fractions. So this is a lot of the review type questions and just combining like fractions with like denominators. And then I separated the improper fractions and mixed numbers from there. Now there was less improper fractions and mixed numbers. Like I said, they're going to take another assessment tomorrow about only improper fractions and mixed numbers. So this data, as clean as this looks right now, will be a little different tomorrow. But this proper section is the main thing that I was looking at. So we have a couple students at 100%, even a 71, because this question 6 gets tied into there. This would put them at a 75 or higher, so I'm not worried about that. 100% are good, 71's good. This 42 is one that stands out, so that would be student 5. This 15, or student 11, this 57% stands out. And then the rest, everything looks pretty good as far as proper fractions goes. So this data is telling me that those 2 students are the 2 that I got to pull and really do some intervention regarding unit fractions and just combining fractions with like denominators. So then regarding the mixed numbers, student 1 got a 0% on this, student 5 got 50%, student 11 got 0% there, and then student 19 got 0% as well. So they're the students that I need to revisit some of those adding mixed number strategies, and then even more so from using this data, I would actually compare this to tomorrow's data after we do that assessment, just to see where those students are and see if after taking another day of instruction with both addition and subtraction of mixed numbers and improper fractions, if there's a change in their data there. If not, then we'll make major decisions from there. So then I went through and just looked at it as a class as a whole. So the maximum score, obviously 100%. The average score was an 81. So I was pretty pleased to see this. These, like I said, this is just a quick quiz. So this was the past 4 lessons that we taught. So just a week and a half worth of teaching, but shows that we're ready to keep moving here. Minimum score was a 40. So the range score was a 60%. And then my standard deviation ended up being a 0.18, which I thought was a pretty low standard deviation. So this makes this a pretty valid assessment here. Then I just used our scale score. So we don't use A, B's, C's, D's, E's, and F's at the elementary level. We use a 4, 3, 2, and 1. So just for context, 4 is 92% and above. A 3 is 75% to 91.9. A 2 is 50% to 74.9%, and then 1 is anything below a 50%. So in this is also exactly what we give to the kids, and they self-assess using this, and they also they're the scale scores that they get on the report cards as well. The 4, 3, 2, and 1, they also just match up with the Pennsylvania State scoring. So 4 would be advanced, 3 proficient, 2 basic, and then 1 below basic. So it just kind of streamlines everything, so it kind of makes it easy to look at. But anyways, I had 4 students who would be considered advanced here with a 4, 9 students at that 3. So that's what I was most pleased to see, that half of the students that took the assessment so far are right where they need to be. 4 students got a 2, and then 1 student got a 1 and is out below basic there. And then just use this data right here just to kind of put a bar graph. So this is actually what I'm going to share with the students tomorrow, just showing where they're at. We've been doing a lot of Blookits lately too. Now, I know this is off context here, but we've been doing a lot of Blookits, and the kids have been really interested to seeing where their actual percentages are as a class of correct answers versus incorrect answers. So they'll be pretty into seeing this graph here, and going through and just seeing that we have a bunch of 3s and 4s, which is awesome, and that's their goal. So that's my data for my quick quiz and just making decisions from here. Like I said, we're going to move on to more so focusing on improper fractions and mixed numbers at this point. So I'll pull that data tomorrow, and then after they take their next quick check, and then go from there. So thank you for listening, and I look forward to hearing your guys' feedback.